Hi everyone. I totally thought I was third. Hi. So welcome. People have already said this. My name is Thalia Kane. I'm an Ecuadorian-Canadian multidisciplinary artist. I'm based in Toronto. And so I was asked to come in today and speak about Not in Our Space, which is Equity's new anti-harassment initiative. And I am going to talk about that. But then, January 3rd happened. So in the interest of full transparency, I will say I am not an Equity member. I am not a member of ACTRA. I am not part of any union. One of those freelance indie kids. And I did work at Soul Pepper for the past 4 years as, first I was working in the cafe, and then I was working as an usher. So on January 1st, I got hit by a car, and then, literally. And then on January 3rd, it kind of felt like that happened again, but in a non-literal way. So, gonna look at the notes. So, basically, I think that this is tough because we're in a community in which we know a lot of the other people on personal levels and we know them on professional levels. And we need to start paying attention to those differences and how that matters. So with Equity, they've provided a great program called Not in Our Space. And the points of this are to identify what harassment is, what it is not, ways to help people, and the real focus is on the collective gathering and people being able to speak up for anyone else and bystanders coming in and having a space that's comfortable enough for people to really speak up on what they're feeling and to be able to speak up on what you think someone else might be feeling and it not have to be a decision you have to make in terms of, oh, I'm gonna go forward and talk about this, or maybe I shouldn't, because we should just be able to talk. So, how did I get involved with Equity? Why am I the one here talking to you guys about this? About a year ago, I met up with a colleague of mine who's a senior artist and has been working in the industry for a very long time and who I have a lot of respect for. And we were just having coffee and talking about how intertwined we are as an industry and how I, as a young artist who, I did 2 years of an undergrad and then I made the move to Toronto to attend theater school, which happens to be in the Young Centre. And I was there for 3 months before I was kicked out and then I was thrown into the world. So from there, I didn't get a lot of experience and ideas of what the industry could do for me and what my rights were as an artist and what was expected of me as an artist. So I was fortunate enough to find mentors along the way who've helped me and been able to be those voices that have said, yes, if you feel like you're being picked on, say something, or no, it's not cool for someone to hit on you in an audition. And the interesting thing with theater school now, too, is that the idea that you have to be broken down to be built back up again, I think we've all kind of moved past that idea. And we all know it's kind of bullshit. Because, I did 3 months, so I didn't get totally broken down. But I got a few punches, and I can only imagine what 3 years would have done. And one of my main focuses with, I'm going to go back to the actual story. I got off track. So we met up and we sat down and we talked about getting together as an industry and creating a real community. We talked about getting senior artists into a room with younger artists of different experience levels, different races, different all the things, and having a conversation and having allies and having friends. And then from that, Weinstein happened, and then the next meeting, the whole focus changed, and it was less chatting about our experiences and more chatting about what we need to do. And then from there, we ended up writing an open letter to Scott Bellis, who's the president of Canadian Equity, and then about a week following that letter being released, we had a meeting in which about 30 people, both on Equity and non-Equity members and ACTRA members came in, and we had a conversation. And we were listened to. As a non-Equity member, as a non-ACTRA member, Equity members, presidents of different associations were all there, and we all had a real conversation and made real progress. And I think that now that we're able to bridge this gap, which is the name of the group that I started, we're able to take steps forward. So tomorrow, actually, I'm hosting what's turning out to be about 50 people in my house. And we're talking about bridging the gap and what we need to be doing to move forward together. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about Not in Our Space now, and I will talk about it too in the group in a bit more detail. And the idea is that we need to be sharing the power and therefore sharing the freedom. It is not about one person suddenly taking over and thinking, well, they're right, let's all go follow that train. This was wrong before, you know, screw it. We need to be taking the time to let the power be shared and give the energy towards the younger people who are just coming up, because how are they supposed to know otherwise? If you're growing up and have to wait until you're like 35 or 40 or have worked at the Stratford Festival or have worked at Shaw or have, you know, been associated with certain kinds of people, then how does that make any sense? And how are you supposed to know how to behave and how to treat those who are younger as well? I'm a new generation artist, I guess is what they're calling it. And I've been really fortunate only because of the circumstances I found myself in. Part of that has to do with the fact that I'm a woman. Part of those things have to do with my ethnicity. Part of these things have to do with who I just happen to talk to well at an opening night party. And we need to get rid of all these necessities to listen to someone. So let's, like, I want to listen to you, and I want to listen to you, and I want to know what everyone has to say about this stuff. And as much as the unions are stepping up and taking over and really moving forward, cool, thanks, and moving forward with these things, what we need to do in order to really make a change is not just ask what they can do for us, but ask what we can do for them. When we went into that equity meeting, they listened because we were there to say, these are the problems we have, and this is how we think you can help us, and this is how we want to help you. Because the time for change is now, and frankly, it's the responsibility of everyone, and we owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to our colleagues, and we owe it to this industry, which I think if you're part of it, you probably are pretty damn fond of, or like, I don't know, go work at a bank. So I think that in order to progress, we need to be able to be honest about where we're all coming from and really demand equity and ACTRA as our unions and as our leaders to take the steps that they need to. And Not in Our Space has been a really great format for that. So I'll talk more about it in the little groups, but that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about today, because our climate is changing, and it's terrifying, and it's also really, really, not gonna swear, exciting. And we need to take advantage of this time, and I think we all are, and the fact that this room exists and all of you guys are here is a testament to that, and a testament to how much stronger this community is going to become.